The course is EDU 719, and the title is Introduction to the Teaching Profession. We started this class last week, and that last week I have given you the course outline. I have read out the course outline to those who were present last week. And I strongly believe that those that were here last week will have shared the course outline with those who are not there. But I can see that both the part-time and the full-time are together, and officially the part-timers just coming in today first time. So because of that, I want to read out the course outline again so that all of you will have access to it, and we need for any secondary source. Like I've told you, Introduction to the Teaching Profession. The objective of this course is to prepare you for that profession. The course will take you around all the nitty-gritty. Please, we still have some disturbances at the background. Who is this person? Who is this person? Oladimeji Ishola. Mute your device.
Yes, sir.
Your baby is disturbing us. Mute your. You mute your device.
Yeah,
you have said these times your number. Mute now. Mute your device. Good. Good. That will show some level of respect and courtesy on your part, and we appreciate you for doing that. So I was telling you that this course is to prepare you for the nitty-gritty of the teaching profession. To expose you to the concept of profession and what it takes to be a teacher. You will see various aspects of the teaching profession, starting with the ethics, the training that is involved, and the view of the public about this profession. So at the end of the day, by the time we finish this course, we can be bold enough, to call you professional teachers. So that is the objective of the course. And what are we going to discuss as we go on? The first topic, we are going to see some conceptual definitions. That will be our first topic, conceptual definitions. Why do we need to define some concepts? The reason is because we must be able to understand these concepts so that when we come across them in the course of the lecture, we understand what they really mean. And by that, we are going to define about 7 or 8 concepts. The first one will be education. Education. We are going to see the meaning of education. What is education? We are going to discuss that meaning in full. After discussing the meaning, we are going to see the various forms of education is this class. Is teaching. Teaching. I will advise that problem of network. I'm not, it's not compulsory if your network, but you can manage that is looking at saying we are going to define teaching. After defining, we are going to define training. Another concept we are going to talk about. Many people complaining about poor network. What do we do? What do we do? Because if the network is majority of the students cannot enjoy me, I don't like it.
Okay, actually, sir, I think we can continue. Maybe we do have a recap occasionally. We can have a recap occasionally, sir. That's my suggestion, sir. We can have a recap on the previous discussion as we proceed.
I will still go by your suggestion.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I will go by your suggestion. Let's continue. I don't know.
Okay, sir.
Really where I am, the weather is cold. Maybe that is why the network is bad from this end. I don't know. I'm on training. The concept training. Then the next one is instruct. Coaching. Coaching is another one. Coaching. Fine. Is another concept. Induction is another one. Induction. Induction. Then we are going to define you may begin to wonder, why do we need initiation, indoctrination, drilling in this course? The reason is because we use them teaching. We use them in the classroom. We're going to explain the way we use them and see how relevant they are. The second topic that we are going to take is teaching. Is teaching an art or
I can't hear you.
Maybe
I can't hear you,
this
sir.
topic, we're going to divide the class into groups and engage in serious debate. One side.
So I'm not getting you. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do.
Excuse me, sir.
I recap. I'm trying to. Yeah.
I can't get anything. I can't hear you, sir.
You can't see. again, I said we are going to start with to the 7 or 8, 9. I mentioned concepts like education, teaching, training, instructing, indoctrination, coaching, initiation, induction, and drilling. Those are the concepts. On phone network. Anyone here
Doctor, we can't hear anything now. Most of us are off. Please, the person on that's playing music should put off the music. Doc, we can't hear anything again. We are just blank. Like myself, I'm blank here. I can't hear anything at all.
The doctor has gone
He's
offline. He
out
has
of the
logged out.
room.
Okay.
He's no longer online.
Something like that. Okay. Let's wait for him now.
I think he's equally facing network issues from his end too. That's what I'm thinking.
The network issue is really from his own side. The network issue is from his own side.
Yes.
And I believe once he log in again, it will be much better. The last class we had was online, and it went smoothly. The last class we had, it was online. There was no hitches anywhere. So today, I guess maybe the place where he is today is really not good.
Even going by our discussions now, as I can hear you clearly, it means it's from his end.
Yes, it's from his end. Yeah.
So please, can you help us with the course outline? Full-time students, please help us with the course outline.
Okay. I think maybe we'll try and post it on the. Okay, yeah. We'll try and get it. Okay, he's here.
Well, I'm back, but is it better now? Nobody's responding again.
Yes, it's better now. We can hear you, Doc.
Yes,
can hear you now.
Better. Yes.
We can
maybe you can. Let's still. You just try it if it's still better, sir.
All right. Thank God I'm not in Nigeria. I'm a Togolese. So. Ah, may God save us in this country, honestly. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. My morale is demoralized. My enthusiasm is dampened, and I don't know what to do again.
Please, don't be. Just manage. Let's go ahead.
Just, I think we can hear you now. Just if there's any network issue, we'll let you know.
We take.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we take the second topic, teaching as an art or a science. And I told you that when we get to this topic, we are going to divide ourselves into two. One group, we take teaching as an art, while the other one, we speak for teaching as a science. And then we will now reach a balance. We will now take a decision as to what we should believe, as to whether teaching is an art or a science. Then under this, before we leave that topic number 2, we are going to see the purpose of teaching. Why do we teach? Why do we teach? Yeah, we will see that, and possibly establish some reasons why we teach. Okay, so the second topic is teaching a science. And I've told you that we are going to see the reason why we teach, still under that topic. Then we move to the third topic, topic number 3. Who is a teacher? Who is a teacher? I'm going to see the full definition of a teacher. Then we will measure yourself against that definition and check whether you are a teacher or not. After that, we will see qualities of a good teacher. That is under the third topic, qualities of a good teacher. And this will assist you to appraise your lecturers at the end of this semester of the program as to whether they are teachers or not. Then we also see the teachers training institutions in Nigeria. Teachers training institutions in Nigeria. If someone, which institution will he or she go? Then topic number 4, we go to the act of the course itself. Teaching as a profession. Teaching as a profession. Remember, the title of the course itself is Introduction to the Teaching Profession. So here, we are going to perform some surgical exercise to determine whether teaching is a profession or not. And how are we going to achieve that? We shall achieve that by, first of all, looking for, we will first of all look for the definition of profession. Definition of profession. Then we see the functions of profession. And we are going or not. Topic number 5, ethics and codes of the teaching profession. The teaching profession. Ethics and code of conduct of the teaching profession. We are going to see the ethics, what do we mean by ethics? And what are those ethics in the teaching profession? May get fired, not because he's not competent on the job he's doing, but just because he has violated some aspect of the ethics of that profession. And you hear that the license has been revoked. And even the person may even be jailed. It happens in all professions. People can violate the ethics of their profession. So it is important that we know these ethics in the profession so that we be guided by those ethics. Regulatory and professional bodies in teaching. Regulatory and professional bodies in teaching. And this is where we are going to talk about Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TRCN. We are going to talk about this agency. We are going to see their functions, and we are going to see whether they live up to their functions or not. And the last topic we are going to look at is the public image of teachers in Nigeria. Public image of teachers in Nigeria. Public image of teachers in Nigeria. So those are the course outlines. And the beauty of higher education is that as soon as you get the course outline, it is as good as finishing the course, because you can read on your own in line with those course outlines that we have mentioned. That can be useful to you. I have given them to the coordinator of this program, and I'm sure he will have circulated them to you too. They are in the bookshop, or you can go outside the campus. There are books that you can get in any bookshops. So you try to visit the bookshop and make sure you get this material to complement what we are going to discuss in the class. Be mindful of the fact that you cannot run a higher degree, a postgraduate program, without having your own library. So begin to set up your own library now, because we want to begin to see you as scholars and academics. So in view of that, you begin to arrange your own library by picking books that you can get in the bookshelves. So I want to start with the first one, education. Education. Well, if the word education is mentioned, so many things will come to mind. And I've seen people before referring to someone who has just misbehaved in a way as not educated. It's because he's not educated. If he's educated, he wouldn't behave in such a way. I don't know if you have had such before. I have had it. And I have seen people fighting over this, that he called me an uneducated person. That is an insult on my part. The question is, that word education, what does it really mean? Well, let us see a few definitions. One, we can say education is a process of drawing out and developing the potentialities of an individual. Be viewed the process of drawing out, bringing out, and developing the potentialities of of an individual. What we are saying here is that a conscious effort to bring out what is in the mind of someone or some talents in someone is what we refer to as education. Another definition. We can also view education as a process of developing the cognitive, the affective, and psychomotor domains of an individual. A process of developing the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor domains of an individual in order to make him acquire skills and knowledge that will be relevant to him and to the society where he lives.
Sorry, sir, you're very fast, sir.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm not dictating, I am explaining to you. I am not dictating, I am explaining to you. I said education is a process of developing the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor domains of an individual. Psychomotor. Cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains of an individual in order to make that individual acquire skills and knowledge that will be relevant to him and the society where he lives. What are we really saying here? You see, we have mentioned that education is a process. And when we say something is a process, it means it's a cycle. It has no end. It's a continuous. Where you think you have reached the end, in fact, you are just starting another stage. So a process of doing what? Of developing the cognitive domain. And here, when we talk about the cognitive domain, we are talking about the reasoning ability of someone. So what we are saying here in essence is that we can use education to speed up the reasoning ability of someone. We can also use education to develop the affective domain of someone. And when we talk of affective domain here, we are talking of the behavior of that individual. No wonder when someone is not behaving well, they begin to query the quality of his education. Yes, like the experience I shared with you at the outset of this definition, that sometimes some people may talk to each other that is because someone is lacking in education, that's behaving in such a way. I think they are correct, because the affective domain of people, the psychomotor domain too. Education is a process that is designed to train someone in these three domains. We talk of psychomotor. Psychomotor has to do with the way we use parts of our body. And that shows that education is not restricted to the classroom alone by virtue of this definition. It's not restricted to the classroom alone. To say, to give us the essence of such training. The essence of such training is for that individual to acquire skills and knowledge that will make him to be useful to himself and the society where he lives. Being useful to oneself can be viewed in many dimensions. If someone is able to acquire skills that will enable him to get job, that will give himself. Or if someone has received a kind of training that has equipped him with knowledge that will equally make him to be useful to himself and the society where he lives, we say. So education here is more than what we acquire in the classroom. And by virtue of this definition, you should not refer to someone who has never been to school as uneducated, because education is wider than schooling. And we must draw a clear distinction between, see, they are not the same. Although education is a tool, education is not only literacy, it is more than that. Now, I give you another definition. Education is the systematic process of exposing Education is the systematic process of exposing and providing an individual with the opportunity of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, and for him to integrate effectively into the society. A systematic process of exposing and providing an individual with the opportunity of acquiring knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes that will enable him to integrate effectively into the. What are we saying here? That all kind of exposure is education. And when you expose someone to different types of opportunity, that person is learning. That person is learning. As someone has defined learning as all kind of experience. And that shows that we can learn anywhere. So with this definition, and have in your mind that education is more than what takes place in the, and if education is more than that, therefore, it means we have different types of education. We have different types of education. And what are the types of education that we have? Well, the first and the commonest one that really comes to mind when we talk of education is the formal education. Formal education comes to mind. Formal education. When we talk of formal education, we are talking of a kind of exposure, training, opportunities that take place in an established system that is known as school. The kind of exposure, the kind of opportunities, the kind of learning that takes place in an established system called school. So formal education is attached to schooling. And by implication, if there is no school, there is no formal education. No formal education. There can't be formal education without schooling. And what are the features? What are the characteristics of this type of education? Well, as you know, because you have passed through stages of schooling before, starting with primary school to secondary school to tertiary institution, and now back to tertiary institution, you will agree with me that the school system is systematic and carefully planned. That is one of the features. One of the features of formal education. It is systematic and carefully planned. What do we mean? What we mean here is that both the activities that go on in the school system regarding the curriculum, the time, and the structure of the program, everything is carefully planned. Everything is carefully planned. And for there to be an organized system in this form of education, we start by dividing the bulk of the whole system into levels. The bulk into levels to show the systematic nature of this form of education. That is why we talk of the primary level, the secondary level, and the tertiary level. It is to make it systematic, because it is not possible to expose a child to all bodies of knowledge at the same time. It must be gradual, it must be systematic, it must be logical. So that is why we mentioned that feature, systematic and carefully planned. Everything that go on in the formal education system is carefully planned. The second feature of formal education is that it is deliberate. I hope you can hear me well. Any response?
Yes,
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you,
hear you well.
Doc.
Can hear you,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yes,
you
sir.
can.
Very well, sir. Very well,
Yes,
sir.
sir, we can hear you very well.
Great. I'm happy. The second feature of formal education is that it is deliberate. This type of education is deliberate. You're coming, it is not accidental at all, because you're coming in here followed a process, and those processes can never be accidental. The same thing with someone who wants to go to secondary school after completing the primary education. You will see that there are a lot of procedures, steps that the person must follow before that person will gain admission, before that person will be introduced to the different phases of the secondary education system, different subject, different curriculum, and the rest of them like that. It can never be accidental. It is deliberate. Unlike other forms of education that we are going to see later. Then the third one, the third feature of formal education is that it has rules and regulations. It has rules and regulations. Like we are here now. This program you are running is loaded with rules and regulations. The same thing happens at other levels of education. There is no level that is not guided by rules and regulations. The rules and regulations may come in different form. Even the timetable you are using is a form of rule. The timetable we use in the education system is a form of rule that students must abide by. The same thing with the lecturers or teachers. Because this timetable will tell you where to be at any particular time. And by virtue of that, we can term it to be rules in the school system with other laid down rules and regulations. The University of Lagos, as a case study, we have many rules that you have to obey as students. And when you get to exam hall, the rules continue. So that shows that the system is deliberate, is regimented. Nobody can do anything he likes in that system, in the formal education system. Then the fourth one is that it is graded and certificated. It is graded and certificated. Yes. Why do we talk of first class, second class upper, second class lower, third class, and ordinary pass? That is the grading system in higher education. At the secondary school level, we have A1, B2, B3, C4, C5, C6, D7, D8, and F9. That is the grading system there. At the primary school level too, they have their own grading system. And at the completion of a program in any of these schools, a certificate of completion is awarded. So the grading is geared towards award of certificates. And that makes that form of education distinct from other forms we are going to discuss as we go on. The next one is there is rigidity in admission requirements and standards. Rigidity in admission requirements. What do we mean? What we have is that the process of gaining admission is specified, stated, it is open to all. For example, before you were given admission into this program, you sat for entrance examinations, you passed the examination, and you are considered qualified. This is in addition with the other requirements. And the other requirements may be in the form of having a first degree, in any reputable university in Nigeria And not only you must perform well in that your first degree before you can be considered admittable. So this shows that these requirements are rigid. Rigid because it cannot be waived. It is not flexible. It cannot be waived. It is not possible to say, because of this factor and that factor, let us bring in someone who doesn't have a first degree, maybe somebody with NCE, to come straight for the program. Or we just say, NCE, sorry, OND, the conditions are rigid, it must be met before someone will be considered suitable for admission. And the last feature of formal education that I'm going to mention is it has definite curriculum. What we like in the school system. We must follow a specified curriculum. And this curriculum contains the body of knowledge that the teacher must expose the student to. So when we talk of curriculum, we are talking of the body of knowledge that are designed for instruction in the school system. There is no level of education that doesn't have curriculum. In the primary school, we call it curriculum. In the secondary school, we call it curriculum. But in higher institution, we call it benchmark. In the higher institution. So university doesn't use curriculum. We don't call it curriculum. We call it benchmark. But it means the same thing. This benchmark contains the body of knowledge that must be given to the students. So anywhere an instruction is going on and all these features are present, you should know that that instruction is formal education. The second type of education that we are going to discuss is informal education. Informal education. Informal education. Before I start that proper, let me recap. I define formal education as a kind of training and opportunity or exposure that take place in an established system that is referred to as school. And I measure a number of characteristics of this formal education. You will recall I said it is systematic and carefully planned. It is deliberate. It has rules and regulations. It is graded and certificated. It is rigid in admission requirements and standards, and it has a definite curriculum. It has a definite curriculum. Those are the characteristics of formal education. Now, what is an informal education? This is a type of education that is unplanned. It is casual. It is incidental.
Sorry, can't hear you.
At any time. What did I say? Yeah, I said informal education is a type of education that is unplanned, casual, incidental, and can be acquired anywhere and at any time. Anywhere and at any time. If you look at all those words that we use to describe this kind of education, you should know that parents, relatives, peer groups, neighbors, and others are the teachers in this type of education. So now, can we now say that everybody is a teacher by virtue of this second type of education? Yes. Yes, everybody is a teacher. Even experience is a teacher. History is a teacher. Because all this teamwork, excuse me, to give instruction to the individual at this level of education. This type of education, as I've mentioned, takes place anywhere at any time. On the road, in the kitchen, living room, on the field, in the church, in the mosque, everywhere. Even while someone is sleeping, is teaching. In this type of education. For example, teaching.
Sir, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, sir.
Let's wait for him. Maybe he's disconnected. Let's wait for him.
The devil is a liar. Abi?
Yes, sir.
Is the devil not a liar?
Yes, the devil is a liar.
The liar, full-time liar.
Because the networks wanted to cut me off, and I refused to be cut off.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, I was trying to describe how one can be teaching while sleeping. And I was trying to use a mother who is sleeping, and maybe 3 or 4 children are awake and they are watching. So the first one now looks at the mother and says, why is mommy snoring like this? The other 3 says, that means it is good to snore if mommy is snoring. The other one says, okay, henceforth, when I sleep, I will snore. Because mommy snores, I too must snore. Yes, mommy did not know that the way she behaves while sleeping is a form of instruction to the children. Because people say that children are copycats. They say they are copycats in quotes. That is, they imitate things. Not only that, yes. And that's corroborates our definition. Well, if someone says, because someone has not been to school is not educated, can you now see that this second type of education negates that belief?
Exactly.
Because education is wider than that. Eniola Obasa, what is the problem? I can see your hand. Unmute your device and talk.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
This issue of the woman sleeping and teaching the children.
I'm sure it's not you. I'm sure it's not you. I don't mean to expose you.
It's not you.
All right. What's
I'm just wondering how that can be a learning process for the children.
You may unconsciously you may not know, although it's a bad one, but the children are picking it. It's a bad teaching, bad lecture, but children are picking it. What I want to bring out is that whatever we do at any time, because we are adults and we have been telling our children so many things, correcting them, informing them, they think that everything we do is what they too must do. Have you ever seen situations where a teacher in the school system is fond of putting small towel on his neck like this? You know, some teachers, out of maybe useful exuberance or because of one thing or the other, they have developed that habit. Then it's not out of place to see their students also trying to be like them. Have you seen that before?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I think I've seen somebody like that.
Yes, sir.
That's what we are saying. That's what we are saying. But the main point here is that this type of education takes place anywhere. Then let's look at a mother too. A mother who has a daughter that is of a marriageable age, and this daughter maybe has a sweetheart that is known to the mother, and they are in the kitchen. They are in the kitchen. The main business in the kitchen is to cook, isn't it? Use that opportunity to teach this girl many things about marriage and marital life. Why in the kitchen? Education. Some people are disturbing me at the background. I've muted them. I have power to do that. So this woman will be talking to the girl. This kind of thing you have been doing. If you do that in your husband's house, your mother-in-law will never take that. You better be this. You better be that. That is informal education in action. The same thing with the neighbors too. The neighbors too, on occasions, may see needs for them to correct some children, even though they may not know their parents. So you see now that the teachers in this form of education are many. Experience too could be a teacher in this form of education. One day you pass through Oshodi with your handbag or your phone. You have your phone with you. A call just came in and you are trying to answer the call. As you pick your phone like this, Somebody came from nowhere. Next time you want to, I need response. Will you be careless with your phone?
No, sir.
No,
Why
sir.
won't you? Why won't
Absolutely
you be
not.
careless with your phone?
No.
Because experience has taught you.
Because you don't want a repetition of what has happened. Yes.
Yes. Experience has taught you to keep your phone well anytime you're on the road. Experience is a teacher too. What of history? Have you heard people say, why can't you learn from history? Have you forgotten the Civil War? You must learn from history. So if we must learn from history, it shows that history is also a teacher. Although not a professional teacher, as we are going to see later. Yes. So, what are the characteristics of this form of education? One, it takes place from birth to death. It takes place from birth to death. Two, it may take the form of socialization. It may take the form of socialization. It may take the form of socialization. And when we talk of socialization, we have different types of socialization. And socialization has no end. It is a lifelong process. It has no end. We have socialization for work, socialization for marriage, many things. You see someone who has been very active, going to work, waking up early in the morning to go to work, and now that person is getting to retirement. We should not be surprised that people who have retired before him.
Your voice is breaking again.
Well, I think the network has even tried. So, socialization can take any form, like I've said. So, one of the characteristics of informal education is that it takes the form of socialization. And I've mentioned the series: socialization for school, for work, for marriage, for retirement, for many things. Let me quickly talk about the third type of education. That one is called non-formal education. N-O-N, hyphen, formal education. Non-formal education. This type of education is given outside the school system. This type of education that is given outside the school system is what we call non-formal education. And it can take various forms, like adult literacy classes. Non-formal education can take the form of adult literacy classes. It can also take the form of continuing education program. Continuing education program. It can take the form of vocational training. Vocational training. that can lead to acquisition of a particular skill. If someone learns a trade and is not educated, he has learned a trade. The only thing is that the type of education he has is not a formal one. So, ladies and gentlemen, what have we discussed today? Today, I've been able to give you the definitions of education from different angles. And you will recall, I said education is a process of developing the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domain of an individual in order for that individual to acquire knowledge that will make him to be useful to himself and the society where he lives. Chidima Perpetua, I can see your hand. How may I help you? Chidima Perpetua.
Non-formal education. The definition given.
I'm coming back to it. I'm summarizing what I've taught you so far.
Okay.
So I explained what cognitive, affective, and psychomotor domains mean. Cognitive has to do with reasoning. Affective has to do with behavior. Psychomotor has to do with the use of our parts of the body, any parts of the body. In English, there's what we call oral English. In that class, they will train students on how to move their lips, to roll it, and so on, what we call education. And we identified 3 types of education. I told you that we have formal education that take place in the school. And I told you also that this type of education is systematic and carefully planned. It is deliberate. It has rules and regulations. It is graded. It is graded and certificated. It is rigid in admission. It is graded and certificated, rigid in admission requirements and standards, and it has definite curriculum. Then we move to informal education. And I told you that this type of education is unplanned, it is casual, it is incidental, and it can take place anywhere and at any time. And we also mentioned that this education has many teachers. So in the exam, if I ask you, which form of education has many teachers? It is informal. And I've mentioned a series of teachers: the parents, the relative, the peer groups, the neighbors, the history, and experience. All these are teachers in the school of informal education. This type of education starts from the day we stop learning. We continue to learn till we die. Then we have the non-formal education that is given outside the school system, and it takes the form of adult literacy classes, continuing education program, vocational training, cultural education, and the rest of them like that. So there's no way in life that someone will not have one or all of these form of education. So from today, stop referring to someone as uneducated, because everybody is educated one way or the other. So thank you very much. I'm happy we are able to do something despite the erratic
Thank
network.
you, sir.
We will continue from there next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank
Can
you,
we
sir.
have the full note for this lecture, sir?
Thank you, sir.
Lecture
you,
notes,
sir.
I
Really
beg you.
appreciate you, sir, for your patience.